Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is May 19th, about 8:45 p.m. as we start this recording. Lee, how you been?
I've been all right, bud. How about yourself?
Pretty good myself. As we get right into it, I think the big story this week is the Pittsburgh Steelers have a new schedule for 2024-2025 season.
That's right. Yeah, they do. A crazy one at that.
Yeah, let me pull it up and we can just I'll let you give me your take. What's your initial thoughts when you first saw it? What were you thinking? Um, no, let's pause that. I'll go through it
Okay.
real quick. I'll start
Okay.
by going through it, and then we can
All
go from
right.
there. We
Yeah.
we we start off with the Falcons, then the Broncos, then we play San Diego, and then in Indianapolis, Dallas, Oakland, Jets, New York, and then the bye. So that's the first 9 weeks. What was the first thing that jumps out to you on that first 9 weeks?
I thought to myself, wow, this is it may be a pretty decent, first half of the season for us where we could actually probably, maybe come out, you know, um 7-1, 6-2, something like that going into bye, thinking we could have a decent record for sure. That's what I thought.
Yeah, when you look at that, I mean, you don't like your first home games on until week 3. You start on the road for two
Yeah.
games. That is a little thing. I mean, maybe that helps you mesh them. Maybe helps you get
Yeah.
together with your team. But yeah, you're right. The teams on this side of the schedule, there's not that many world beaters here. As like Dallas is a really good team, I would say.
Yeah. 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 Maybe the
Colts have been
Chargers.
playing pretty well. Chargers are always decent, but the rest
Yeah.
of this schedule, I mean, it doesn't really scare you. Even if you add on then week 10 Washington, that's another game where you think that's pretty
Yeah.
winnable.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, the first 8 games here that to the bye, you're looking at it and you're thinking maybe this team can get off to a hot start, and then
Yeah.
once you get on a hard start, you never know what you can do. But
Exactly.
if you look at the second half, it gets it
Yeah.
gets a little nasty here. We got
Yeah.
Washington first, and you have Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Oh.
Um, all 6 divisional games come after November 17th. And that's 6 out of the last 8 weeks are
Yeah.
divisional games.
Yeah. I when I saw that, I thought somebody had it out for the Steelers because I don't know when I've ever seen a team face all of their divisional games after the bye. I know they usually mix it up. There's a couple before, but you got out of the last 8 games, last 9 games after the bye. I'm sorry, 9. 6 of them are um, division. I mean, that's insane. I mean,
Yeah,
You're not going into the bye with knowing where you have to stand. You have to figure out, okay, can we win the division after the bye week?
I've never seen a schedule where the last 8 games, 6 of them are divisional. It's crazy. I, obviously, I don't think it's something that the league intentionally did, but it is weird that they didn't catch it. Like once you go in
Yeah,
there and look at the schedule, it's like someone had to go, isn't this a little weird? Isn't this a little awkward that they're playing
yeah,
all of their divisional games at the end of the season? Usually you'll sprinkle in a game early in the year against
yeah,
Cleveland or Cincinnati. I know
yeah,
lately most of the games have been late in the season, but you'd expect to have one or two early
yeah.
on just to get your feet wet in the division and make it interesting. But no, not here.
Not
Um,
here at all.
I know that Cleveland Cincy played earlier in the season, so it's not like it's the entire AFC North either. This is a specific Steeler problem, I think, more than anything. Uh,
Yeah,
so it was surprising to see, but even more daunting, I think, is
yeah,
there's a 10-day 3-game stretch in here where the
yeah,
Steelers are going to be playing Philadelphia Eagles,
yeah, yep,
Baltimore Ravens. Both of those games are on the road, and then
yeah.
on Christmas Day, the Steelers will be playing against the Kansas City Chiefs on Netflix, I believe, right? On Netflix, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Because
So
Netflix now has the Christmas contract. Yeah, with the NFL.
that 3-game stretch is insane.
Rough. Yeah. And then before that, just even before that, you have 4 divisional games in a row.
Oh yeah.
4 in a row right before that. I mean, yeah, and then that 10-day window.
3 games.
Jalen Hurts,
three elite teams.
Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. 2 of them away and 1 at home. That's insane.
Yeah, if they don't have this season, if the season's not going well early on, if they go 4-4 in that first before the bye, they're 4-4. I'm really concerned for the rest of the season. I think they have to go 6-2 in that first half. I don't know how you feel on that.
No, I think so too. And just seeing that second half, if that first half doesn't go well, we might be looking at Mike Tomlin's first losing season as a head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I'm just thinking, I'm playing worst case scenario in my head, and it's like they start off bad. You're going to take Russell Wilson out of the starting position. You're going to put Justin Fields in there, and this Fields ready to hit these defenses. The defenses in the second half. Washington's got a great defense themselves, and then Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy, Philadelphia, Kansas City's defense isn't like well known, but I mean they're Super Bowl winning defense. I mean, it's rough. It's really rough.
It's a rough schedule. Yeah.
Just looking at that 3-game stretch there specifically, like I've been saying.
Yeah. Eagles.
They're really gonna have to come together.
Philadelphia, away at Baltimore, and then home against Kansas City. I mean, that's
in 10 days.
In 10 days, and the Steelers have the 3rd hardest schedule behind the Ravens and the Browns. But you look at this schedule. I don't know. I haven't looked too much of the Ravens and Browns schedule, but I know they have some divisional games earlier on. But this has to be harder than that. I mean, just to have 6 after the bye, that's got to be insane.
Yeah, you knew, everyone knew who they were going to be playing before now, but the structure of this schedule, it really is like you're saying. You saying you think someone's got it out for the Steelers. Who knows? It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I don't know. The Steelers are definitely going to have their hands full this season. It's going to be a real test to them, to see if they can come together and actually be a team and play under Mike Tomlin and, and actually see if they can come out with a winning season. I mean, because, that first half, you're like, man, they could have a winning season. They could have a decent, good season. But then that second half is just rough, especially like you said, that 10-day 3-game stretch. I mean, that's going to be the real test for the Steelers there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they have been streaky. I feel like sometimes it's good starts, sometimes it's been bad starts and good finishes lately. So that's another thing to put into play. Where if they do have one of those cold starts, then you're worried coming in the second half of this season.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you get hot at the beginning, you have to stay hot even when the schedule gets a little crazier. Exactly. So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird to expect them to start the season 6-2. I think is a stretch too. With the way, I mean, I don't see them being that type of team who's going to be good enough to go 6-2. And I think they need 6-2 to start to win 10 games. I think they need to start 6-2.
Yeah, and like you said, it's they brought in new players for this offseason. They definitely are going to need to mesh together and be able to play together. Just because you get some good players doesn't mean they're going to be able to just get out there and be perfect, immediately. It's going to be a little bit of a slow start, so they're going to have to figure out a way that they can, also work together, and make those wins for sure.
Yeah, so it's May though, so I guess everything we're saying about the schedule can turn on its head real fast if Browns still keep having quarterback issues, Joe Burrow gets hurt, something like that. That second half could end up being a lot easier than we expect. But at this moment in May, I think that the Steelers do have a rough schedule. As you said, third toughest in the thing. So
Yeah.
Fun to speculate on early on, I guess.
For sure.
Then so we can shift over to the Buccos. The Buccos, we talked about it last week. This was going to be an important week for them. We were hoping for a 5-2. They ended up 4-3, winning record against two of the teams above them. I mean, you can't complain too much about that. They were in a couple of the other games that they lost. You would hope they would have had a shot there, but they ended up 4-3. The big story for me is there's slowly a pitching staff coming together that I really like.
Yeah.
There's a three-headed monster at the top of that staff. This week, let me throw out this isn't even including Bailey Falter last night. The only game of the Cubs series last night, meaning Saturday, the only game of the Cubs series that the Pirates lost was on a very controversial call at the end on a slide here. I can actually let me pull that up there. I can actually pull that up and show real quick just the play that ended the game.
Line drive, base hit center field. Bellinger to third, on his way home. Here's the throw, the tag. Safe! Ball game, Cubs win.
So that was the initial call there. It's tough on that. On right there, looking at that. I mean, it looks like there's a tag, but hey, you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
But let's see if we got a replay on this clip here. Here we go. Here's a replay coming up.
And that costs him a step or two.
The safe call at one play.
It is. Ball kick. Dropped the ball.
Here we go. Here we go,
folks.
Drive safe, everybody.
Oh, gets tapped.
Yeah.
Ball's in. He puts his hand out. Bam.
Yep.
The ball gets smacked out of his hand by another player. Here's another replay coming up.
After review, the call on the field confirmed the runner is safe.
So,
yeah,
that's how they lost yesterday afternoon. I keep saying last night.
Yeah.
But in that game, Bailey Falter, he ended up pitching seven innings, strong ball, but they got the loss there. But the three guys I want to focus on for this week are Mitch Keller, who's just signed that long extension this offseason, Jared Jones, who's been awesome. He's been on the team since opening day, and he's been pitching amazingly. And Paul Skeens, who phenom coming up. We've been talking about him the last couple of weeks. The Pirates won 4 games. These 4 pitchers won those games. They went a combined 24 innings pitched, just 5 earned runs and 28 strikeouts. That's an ERA of 1.87 in those 4 starts.
Wow.
So that's a promising start for those guys, stretch for those guys. And I think there's something there. They can build those 3 guys up to be a 3-headed monster at the top of the rotation, and maybe we can start winning some games, winning some series with those 3.
Yeah, I think that as the season has come along, and again, it's a long season for the Pirates. But I think it was a little bit of a slow start. But I think, like you said, with the pitching staff, those 3 guys that you just spoke about, they definitely have been coming together. It seems like they're coming into the games and being able to be an elite 3-headed, like you said, 3-headed monster for the Pirates, for that pitching staff. Paul Skeens, the 2 games that he's played so far and started, he has looked amazing. I mean, just that game on what was it, Friday?
Friday.
6 innings pitched, 0 runs, 0 errors, 0 hits. 11 strikeouts.
Just 1 walk.
Just 1 walk. I mean, that was just he's definitely living up to the hype of being that number 1 draft pick, and I think that the pitching staff for the Pirates is definitely starting to come together. I think that they are going to be somebody down the road through the end of the season, going to be tough to face with those 3 guys. We just like you said, we wanted a 5-2, but 4-3, is still a winning record over that stretch. I think that they are doing pretty well. They just got to kind of clean up a few things here and there, but I think they're starting to, mesh together, get, come to themselves, and be the Pirates that we were hoping that they would be this season.
Yeah. Skeens on Friday was just unhittable. His like literally too, I guess. But his
Yeah.
100th pitch was throwing 100 miles per hour. So even 100 pitches
Wow.
into the game, he was still throwing 100 miles per hour. I mean,
Wow.
that's just crazy to see from a guy. He's only 21. He might have just turned 22. I think he's still 21 though. It's just impressive. And you got Jared Jones, who's been doing it all season. His last start, he didn't seem to have his fastball, which is usually up to 102 himself, but he was able to pitch through it, and he ended up giving up 3 runs in 6 innings, but he got 7 strikeouts. I mean, it's just the maturity level of both guys seems like special too. Like, even if the Pirates don't sign these guys long term, they get them for 6 years under control of the team, and that you're going to have Mitch Keller there too, who seems to be fixing himself. This week alone, he had 12 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs, so he's been playing well himself. He had a little poor little stretch there, but I think he's back. I mean, this hitting has been a struggle all year. There's holes in this lineup that need to be filled, need to be fixed, either internally, or if you want to do something this year, you got to go externally, which maybe it's a little too early for that when you're in May and the deadline's not until the end of July. But I'm starting to get a little bit optimistic with his pitching staff. At the beginning of the season, they were seen as the poor part of the pitching staff. Everyone was looking at the bullpen as being a problem, but the starting rotation has been awesome, and it's going on 2 months now, so it's hard to call it a fluke or say it's early. I think that these guys know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that for sure it's definitely been a slow start for the Pirates, but I think that as we move in through the rest of May, getting into June and July, I think they can actually come together and be the team that we kind of spoke about, before the season started. I think that they can also win this division still. I think they can hit a hot streak, and if they can get that pitching staff where we're talking about right now, if they can get a little further with it, I think they will be a tough team to face down the stretch.
Yeah, they're 22 and 26 right now. They're 6 games behind the Brewers in the division, who are 27 and 19. So that's 48 games in. We're about a little over a fourth of the way through the season.
Yeah.
If you can pitch, you can stick around, like you're saying, and it's there to be taken. Brewers have played well. I'm not going to shit on them at all. Cubs are all going to be a threat, but I mean, like St. Louis and Cincinnati are both struggling right now.
Yeah.
You got a lot of divisional games, similar to the Steelers, not as extreme.
Yeah.
Before this 10-game stretch, really, the Pirates didn't play any divisional games, really. I think there may have been one series or so. So they have a ton of games in the division left over. You win those games at a good clip, and you're going to playoff spot, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see down the rest of the stretch for the season for the Pirates, for sure.
But Lee, if you don't got anything else, I think I'm good today.
I just want to real quick.
You guys
have an update on the Knicks and Pacers game 7?
Yes, that game's over. The Pacers beat the Knicks game 7. Pacers are moving on. Pacers Celtics is going to be on. Is going to start on Tuesday night. Pacers Celtics. What are your thoughts on that? I thought Knicks. I thought the Knicks would come out game 7 in the Garden.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Knicks too, but it's going to be exciting to see. It's going to be definitely a good matchup. The Celtics and Pacers. It's going to be. I think that could be another one that can go 7. Just how this one went. I think it's going to go a little back and forth, but I'm excited to see this one. But I thought Knicks, but the Pacers did their thing, and we'll see how they do and plan out against the Boston Celtics here on Tuesday.
And I can give you an in-game update of Denver and Minnesota. Maybe we'll make a prediction just so we can look like assholes by the time this comes out. Nuggets are up 48-38 with a minute left in the second quarter right now. So, I mean, at this point, I'm gonna go Nuggets. 10-point lead almost at halftime at home. They got the championship caliber roster. They've won it already. They've done what they need to do. They know what to do to win these game 7. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Denver. Do you think Minnesota's got a shot?
I think they have a shot, but I think I'm gonna go Denver as well. They are the reigning champs. You got Jokic and Murray are, such a dynamic duo that are just, too tough to guard, and they're great players. I think that the Nuggets, I think it'll go down, maybe down to a buzzer beater shot, at the end.
Okay.
I think that the Nuggets will win that game, and they'll be moving on to face Dallas, who just won, I believe, yesterday against Oklahoma. So that should be an interesting matchup as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stat. Anthony Edwards only 4 points in the first half. He's 1 of 6 shooting. He's got to turn it off in the second half. Turn it on in the second half if they don't have a shot. It's now 51-38. Looking at the Nuggets scoring, Murray's got 22 points. Jokic has 13. Wow. So that's 35 from them. So it's 38 for Minnesota, 35 for Jokic and Murray so far.
Wow.
So they're coming to play. They're the guys you want to be playing like that in Game 7, and they're both coming out and doing it. Jokic already has 15 rebounds.
Wow.
It's at halftime.
Wow.
We're at halftime of this game. He already has 15 rebounds. So
insane.
Maybe we see some playoff history. I don't know what the record for rebounds in a Game 7 is, but if you're at 15 at halftime, we'll see what happens there. They're playing lights out, it looks like, so far. Yeah. We are at a half. It's 53-38 at halftime. So we'll see. Next time we talk, we'll be able to break down these series and know exactly who won what. But until then, Lee,
good.
have a good night.
You too. Have a good one, bud.